Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. Yep, Week 9 SEC games. We have got some big ones coming tomorrow, and it's time to get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Absolutely. Let's get right into these games. All right, we got 6 SEC games lined up. Oklahoma versus Ole Miss, Ark versus Mississippi State, and on down the line, as you can see right here. And we've got several teams that are on a bye right now. Obviously, my team, Tennessee, is on a bye after beating Alabama. Alabama does not have a bye. They're playing this week. Should be interesting. And, of course, Florida and some other teams. So, anyway, let's get into this first one. This is Oklahoma versus Ole Miss. It's at Oxford. All right, folks, this is a big game for both of these teams. Ole Miss has to win to stay in the playoff mix. They're 5-2. They cannot have if they get another loss, they're out. They're done. And they're hanging on right now with 2 losses. They've got to go 10-2. It's just a fact. And Oklahoma needs this win because Brent Venables is starting to get on the hot seat over there. They got whooped last week by South Carolina pretty badly too at home. So Brent Venables is not in a good spot right now. And I think the SEC has kind of given Oklahoma a bit of a rude awakening.
I just know something bad is going to happen. Huh?
Yeah, it's not been pretty, that's for sure. Now, I will go ahead and warn Oklahoma. You're going to see a bunch of fake injuries from Ole Miss, especially being at Oxford, and they're in a absolute must-win situation. Now, they've technically come out and said they're going to, play by the rules, which means absolutely nothing. This is Lane Kiffin we're talking about. All right, and we know how he handles injuries.
Allegedly.
Hey, you want to fake injuries? You got it. Oh my God! Oh, I can't go on.
Yep, that's my opinion, that he loves to fake injuries. So it should be an interesting game. It's a must-win for both teams. I'm telling you, it's going to get loud in Oklahoma land if they don't win this game. And Ole Miss, they got to have it. All right, now we're going to move on to the next game. That's Arkansas at Mississippi State. All right, this is not an exciting game. Let's just get real about it. Arkansas needs this win. They're 4-3 right now. Sam Pittman's, his seat's warming up. It was really warm last year when they went 4-8. They need this. Otherwise, Bobby Petrino is just going to slide right in there as head coach. He's the head coach in waiting anyway. Mississippi State, they're starting to show some life, even though they've got a terrible record at 1-6. Jeff Leby, he's going to figure it out down there. I tell you, I don't think they win this ball game. Arkansas is favored by 7. I think Arkansas will win. But anyway, it should be an interesting game. It's not a really important game unless you're the head coach or a part of the fan base. All right, the third big game here we've got at 3:30. Those other 2 games are at 12, by the way, 12 and 12:45. Missouri at Alabama, and that's a 3:30 game on ABC, so that's a big game. It was supposed to be a really big game, but Brady Cook is doubtful. Without Brady Cook, I don't see any way Missouri can beat them. I watched Drew Pine. He doesn't look so good to me. And Alabama should have a field day with him. I don't see Missouri being able to score a lot of points. Now, if they got Brady Cook, totally different game. As a matter of fact, I would say it's almost a toss-up if Brady Cook can play and play at a decent level. They've also lost their leading rusher, but, I mean, it's one thing to lose your leading rusher. It's another thing to lose your quarterback. Now, Alabama's coming off a bad loss. Well, any loss is bad for Alabama, but they haven't looked good in the last 3 games. They almost got beat by South Carolina. They did get beat by Vanderbilt, and they're coming off the loss to Tennessee, where, unfortunately, according to a couple of folks at Alabama, Tennessee was piping in fan noise, making it really loud. It wasn't really the fans that were doing it. It's just we were piping in loud noise, and they're not happy about that. So they probably won't have to worry about that being too loud at Bryant-Denny Stadium because it doesn't get quite as loud there. So I think they'll be okay. Jalen Milroe looked to me like he might be a little bit injured. Maybe it's in his chest. Maybe he's got like a rib issue or shoulder. Something's not right. He's not playing at his peak. Now, I know a lot of that had to do with the Tennessee defense just being all over him and playing really good D. I can't believe Tennessee's gone 7 games and not giving up 20 points in any of them. That's not happened since the 1960s. But anyway, I think Jalen Milroe will get right in this game and play pretty well. And they're favored by 14 because everybody thinks Brady Cook's not going to be there. So Alabama, this is a get-right game for them, and they really need it, and it should calm everybody. Hell, I don't know, man. Alabama's in panic right now. They cannot lose another game, period. They've got 2 losses. If they're out of the playoff, they won't know how to act.
Remain calm. All is well. All is well.
They haven't been out of the playoffs since, I don't know, since Nick Saban's first year. So they'll be looking to get right in this one. And I'm going to tell you something. When it comes to Missouri, I don't know if they're for real without Brady Cook. I mean, they look like a completely different team. They may be a bit of a paper tiger. They've already got 1 loss, and they almost lost some other games earlier in the year against teams that were not very good. So, again, we'll see, but I don't know. Are they a paper tiger?
I said ball.
We're going to find out. If Drew Pine is in there and they get whooped up on, we may find out that Brady Cook's been carrying this team. All right, next game, Texas at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's got a number in front of their name. I've never seen that. Number 25. Good for Vanderbilt. You know they could be undefeated. They've lost 2 games just barely, and of course beat Alabama, beat Kentucky. They've got some good wins, man. They're surprising everybody. And the big part of that is Diego Pavia. That guy's like Superman out there. He is carrying that team to victory right now, and nobody can figure him out. In the Alabama game, he was unbelievable. He was literally curving the football around defenders. He did it a couple times. And on 3rd down, your back can't stop him. He'll act like he's going to run. He may throw. He may take off. You don't know what he's going to do. Now, granted, it's Texas, so, Quinn Ewers and all that talent. I mean, it's going to be talent extraordinaire. So I don't see any way that Vandy could beat Texas. But, boy, I'll tell you what, Texas got introduced to the SEC last week by Georgia. They didn't have much sympathy for them. They let them know who's in charge of the SEC.
Wayne, now that it's all over after this incredible ordeal, what are your feelings? Did you get that?
Yeah. Did you get that? So, anyway, Texas is favored by 19, so I'd expect them to win this game. But watch out for Diego. He will be a pest. All right, next big game. This is a big game here. This is LSU at Texas A&M. This is for the lead in the SEC. It's at 7:30, ABC. So it's the premier game. And LSU, of course, got Newsmeyer, who's got a great arm. He's looking really good. And for some reason, LSU always loses their opener. They've done it 3 years in a row.
And we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again talking about the same things.
But then they play great after that. They're 6-1. They've won 6 in a row. So they've got to go to Texas A&M, though, which is a huge deal because that's a monster stadium, like 107,000. It'd be loud as crap there. Texas A&M is 6-1. And I told you, folks, bringing in Mike Elko was a good move. I know you had to pay $76 million to Jimbo Fisher. Y'all found that money somewhere. I don't know where.
Haven't you noticed? You got to be a man to play in my league.
But obviously you're glad you did because now you're not going to go 8-4. You're already 6-1. So you're just 2 games away from what Jimbo would have done for you. And you got tons of talent. Connor Wagman's playing okay. He's pretty useful out there on the field. So A&M's favored by 2.5. This is a big game. It's important. These are 2 teams that may end up in the playoff. One of them's going to take a big hit, though. So that's the game of the day. And lastly, we've got Auburn at Kentucky. Holy crap. First of all, you've got the most unlucky, jinxed team in the country in Auburn. They can do nothing right.
What'd you get, Henry, number 44? No, 6 7/8.
Oh, Andy, he pulled out the hat sign.
They're 2-5. They should be 5-2. They didn't go get a quarterback this offseason like I told them to. They stuck with Peyton Thorne, he's a nice guy, smart and all that, but he throws interceptions and he throws a lot of them. And Hugh Freeze didn't want to pay $1 million for a QB, even though he makes $7 million. How'd that work out for you, Hugh? So anyway, they're at 2-5. They'll figure out a way to lose this game. That's what they do. Kentucky is 3-4. They need a win. Mark Stoops needs a win. He's got Brock Vandergriff. He did go get a quarterback in the offseason. Brock looks good, then he looks bad, then he looks good, then he looks bad. They're schizophrenic. We don't know what we're going to get in Kentucky. They may show up and play like they did against Georgia, or they may show up and play like crap. We just don't know. Kentucky's favored by 2.5. I think Auburn will beat them the whole game and then figure out a way to lose at the end. That's what Auburn does. So I'd probably take Kentucky in this one, but who knows? Auburn's the better team in my opinion, but they'll lose. It's what Auburn does. So anyway, I did want to cover all these big SEC games. Week 9 should be very entertaining, and it all starts at noon. And my team's sitting on the bench just waiting to go. We'll be playing Kentucky next week. That should be super fun. I'm really hoping that Nick Roush makes the trip up to Neyland Stadium because I know how he enjoys playing the VOLS every year.
Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange colors, and their stupid song, and their woo, get their woo on out of here.
Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover all these big college sports stories. And I know, Nick, you'll hit the like button. And right over here is the subscribe button. Be sure to hit that button right there. It doesn't cost you a dime. It'll help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.